Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing blitzmonkey in the 3-minute pool on ICC. So blitzmonkey is probably going into an IMZO. Nope, we have a queen's gambit declined. And I will play the exchange variation. Bishop d3 now. And c5. Okay, c5 is interesting. Not quite sure what to make of that move. First reaction is, why can't I just take? So bishop takes, now I take on f6, queen takes, I have queen h5 threatening h7 and d5. That just wins material, right? I'm also wondering if I could take on d5 first. Nah, let's just keep it simple. Let's do it this way. And then go here. c5 is something black has to time correctly in this line. Okay, that's just blundering a piece, right? So I win c8 now.
Check.
Yeah, big mistake by him. I could even be greedy and take here, can't I? Yeah, let's do that. I just want to castle quickly, so I'll let him go and take my b-pawn if he wants, like rook b8, queen c7. Now take, I'll just castle. Everything's defended. Castle to safety. And now I just want to trade. Okay, so here I have this move. Wins more material. Fork on the queen and the rook. Okay, let's take. And he resigned. Okay, so in this setup, black has to be cautious about losing the d5 pawn, and hence why you usually see black playing c6 in this line. So bishop e7, all this is standard. e3, castle, bishop d3. So c6 is the most reliable move right now. There's other ways that black can end up losing the d5 pawn as well. One of the most notorious ones being b6. This is a common mistake. I actually showed this in a previous video. But white can take on f6. Bishop takes f6, and the same move, queen h5. So this is a motif that white players should be aware of. Well, both white and black, really. So after black responds to the threat of checkmate, you take the pawn on d5. Clear win of a pawn for white. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There's also the move knight c6, which is kind of interesting in this position. I just saw a game of a student's where he faced knight c6 in this position. And he, understandably, took on f6 and then played queen h5 with the fork. And it does win a pawn. However, it's a little less clear because after g6, queen takes d5, there's this move knight b4. And after here, take, and then c5, black got some unexpected counterplay. I think c5 was the move that was played. So I actually think against knight c6, maybe white shouldn't go for this line. We determined that maybe white should just play knight ge2 or knight f3 like normal and go from there. The knight will be somewhat awkward on c6 anyways. And if this comes here, you could always just play bishop b1 and then eject the knight with a3 later. So hence the importance of c6. c5, I could also take on f6 first and then take on c5, but I think that's less strong because he can take my knight if he wants. And after b takes queen a5, he'll probably be able to recover the pawn. Yeah, there's no way I can defend both of those pawns. So I'm happy with my choice of taking on c5. And maybe here he should play like knight bd7 would be a potential move, just trying to recover the pawn. Maybe I can play b4? I don't know. b4, a5, a3? Something like this. Take, 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 take. And if he goes b6, I do have this move. But I'm not so sure. This attacks this and this and this. There's all these weaknesses. It might not be a bad option for him. Let's just see what the engine has to say about this. Yeah, knight bd7. And it does say d takes c5 is the best move. But knight bd7 is best. And the engine advocates for just development for white. Knight ge2, knight takes c5, probably castle, and play against the isolated pawn. We can blockade the square right in front of it, so white retains a slim advantage. So he took here, and then I took on f6. Queen takes, queen h5. I was also briefly considering this move, but I'm glad I didn't do it because now I see that here he can take on g2. This would have been the idea. Bishop takes f6, and because the queen is now undefended, there's no knight defending it. If he were to take this way, that would be a losing blunder in view of the discovery on their queen. But I do see that they have queen takes g2, which spoils my fun. So it looks like bishop takes f6 was correct. Yep, queen h5, threatening mate. Yep, and here he simply played too fast. Rook d8 just blunders a piece. Bishop b4 might not be so easy for white, because that threatens c3 twice. Let's say I go knight ge2. I don't know, rook d8, something along these lines. My queen is somewhat on the run. And he does have the bishop pair. He's down a pawn almost purely, but there's a little bit of compensation. Yeah, here, and the hanging bishop on c8 does him in.
Check.
Yeah, and he's not going to get much out of this. It's important not to be too greedy. Like, I was wondering whether I should even bother taking the b-pawn, but I have to move my queen anyways, so I figure, why not? So here, knight c6, now here. I definitely wouldn't want to make some move to try to defend the b-pawn. I think that would be a little much. I'm already up a full piece, so if I lose the b-pawn, but I get to castle, I'm happy with that trade, being up the entire piece. And now knight e4, sealing the deal. Okay, so hope you guys learned a thing or two about the QGD in that one, and it highlights the importance of black putting the pawn on c6 in this line. And there are some times that black can play c5 and get away with it, but you have to have pretty precise knowledge, and I would say in this position, black must play knight bd7 if they're going to try to make this line work. But at the very least, white can just play against the isolated pawn. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another Blitz game. Talk to you guys later. Bye.